All right, good evening, folks. Welcome to Monday Night Law. Here was it October 14th, 2024. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Did you miss me last week? Nah, you guys don't miss me. It was a nice, relaxing, even though up before dawn and to bed late, still getting up early every day, trying to go hunting. So I'm kind of wore out, but I'm kind of bodily actually refreshed. So just gotta get back in tune here. Finished unpacking and kind of cleaning the camper and all that stuff today. So been a busy day today. So hope everybody had a good week. And I don't know what's really going on out there right now because I haven't been paying attention. I've been busy enjoying the great outdoors, the wilderness. Good times. Walter Douglas over here on Telegram asking about militia and the Marines taking out FEMA. Yes or no? Red team is in. They take no prisoners. I comprehend. Can you expound on these developments 3 weeks out? Well, I did hear a little something about that. Basically telling FEMA to get out of the way. And saw something about the sheriffs in the local area there coming in and telling the feds to get out of the way. So I think in part that is true that they're kicking FEMA out, but I think in part this is to expose the corruption within FEMA, the feds. Hi, Jax. See you over here on YouTube. No, unfortunately, I did not. I missed my one opportunity, but didn't even take the shot. But no, no dear, not this time. I still may go some more. My trip actually got cut short due to some family issues. I wasn't actually going to come back until like Tuesday or Wednesday. But we definitely found where they were at. It was just a matter of figuring out how to get them. By the time we started kind of figuring it out, it was time to go. So yeah, like I said, I might still go again. So we'll see. Yeah. So good to be back though. It was nice up there, temperature wise. A little cool at night, but not too bad. Typically, it's a lot colder up there this time of year, so I don't know what the deal is there. Just kind of a weird year. Dazel D's, good to see you, brother. James out there on YouTube, good to see you. Wonder if Art's gonna make it. Dang it, I forgot I was gonna try and call him today. Sorry, brother Art. Was that out of town, out of mind? when you did try call. So Art's one of those guys out there in North Carolina, where a lot of this stuff's happening. So, or is he in South Carolina? Now you got me thinking. Anyways, yeah, that's the joke I made with my brother about, well, I guess global warming is in effect. What's this now, Jax? Emin Bundy is saying the guy arrested with three IDs and guns ammo is his friend. Yeah, I haven't followed much of Ammon Bundy for a while. You know, he don't want to talk to me, don't want to listen to me. Ammon Bundy gets what he gets. You know, don't want my help. That's fine. I can't. I can only lead a horse to water. I can't force the horse to drink. Okay, yeah, all right. So Art is in North Carolina. That's right. Thank you, Joy, out there on Facebook. Oh boy. James is saying CPS may be in some hot butter in several states selling children for Diddy parties. Ugh. You know, something I want to mention here is that a lot of our public servants, elected, unelected, sheriffs, police chiefs, the deputies, their whole system there, Congress, state legislatures, you know, they're corrupt. A lot of them are pedophiles. A lot of them are into this satanic ritual stuff. Some, in a way, have been tricked, duped, gotten pictures, that kind of stuff, forced into it. But they still made their choices. It's coming out. Everybody's going to be aware of this. I mean, it's going to. How you don't know something like that, I don't know, but I really hope that something comes out where, like they've talked about, where it's been said, I should say, that they're going to do this, you know, emergency broadcast, and it's going to be broadcasted in like 8-hour loops for a certain amount of days. And then we're going to get to see all of this stuff. We're going to see the executions, what it was about. So, I do hope that does happen. The truth shall be made known. So, I think that's one of those deals where it's going to be hard to ignore that truth once it comes out and it's blatantly in our face. Okay? There's a lot of us that are already well aware of some of this stuff and are awake to those kinds of things. But you know, I was talking to somebody here just last week before I left, and started talking about the satanic ritual stuff and what they do to these children, and organ harvesting and eating babies and all this stuff. And she just kind of like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Blah blah blah. Knew nothing about it. And I'm like, well, that's the truth. That's what's really going on out there. So, I get that there's a lot of people that have no clue that it's even happening. Right? Even for the longest time, I didn't know that it was that in depth, doing the satanic rituals and that kind of stuff. And, that's a rabbit hole that I kind of went down there in 2013, 2014 and discovered, that was back when a lot of this stuff was still out on YouTube. All sorts of videos out on YouTube about this stuff. Right? Comment out here on Rumble. Good to see you there, all caps. False prophet. The truth is being shown to those with willing eyes. If you're, willing to open up the book and read it, it's there. If you're willing to do a little bit of research, it's there. Yeah, I remember back in the day there, this stuff was plentiful on YouTube. I used to have a lot of saved videos, and they're gone. They're wiped. Go into my saved playlist or whatever there for certain stuff like that, and they're just gone. Videos are gone. So somebody definitely didn't want that information to be out there. They're trying to cover their tracks, right? Cover up what's going on. But the truth shall be made known, right? It's all going to come out. It's a matter if you're paying attention or not. And there's definitely still going to be those people that stick their fingers in the ears and la 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 la, don't want to hear it. Tough cookies. And I still think there's going to be a lot of people that may have some sort of mental breakdown and that kind of stuff with some of this stuff. Not just the satanic rituals and the pedophilia stuff, but I mean, as a whole, that how the depth of this corruption. Especially when we really have the change of law, going back to the common law as the fundamental law, and getting away from Roman civil law, the code. I talked about that stuff clear back in 2017, 2018 when I first started and was showing this stuff that we're going back to the common law. It is happening. My understanding and a couple of my sources have talked about, including the judge, that yes, they're being retrained. Retrained on the Constitution, common law. Okay. Warhorse for Liberty over here on Telegram is saying Mr. Truth Bomb on Rumble has many thorough videos on stuff like Pizzagate and Podesta State. Yeah. It's just, I guess it's a switch of a venue going from YouTube to Rumble. I warned you folks a long time ago, if my YouTube channel went down, well, now I've decided I got set up on Rumble. So I believe Rumble and Telegram are pretty much it. That's the safe zone for patriots, truth tellers, and that kind of stuff. Truth Social, maybe. I'm not very active on there. I did go ahead and get an account on there when it kind of first come out there. I don't do a whole lot on it, but I am on there. I didn't like BitChute. I just didn't like their format. I didn't like watching their videos on BitChute, so I have refrained from BitChute. Some people like it. I personally do not. So I'm sticking with Rumble, pretty much Rumble and Telegram. I still have my Facebook page, broadcasting live on there right now. They did try to take me out there back in 2020 by taking out my personal profile, which was attached to the page. And thankfully, I had Chris as a backup administrator and was able to be added back in there, so I didn't lose the channel or page. It's a Facebook page. So oh boy, Internet Archive site is down. Yeah. YouTube, Liberty for All. If Israel is leading cause of all human trafficking and organ harvest, I would say that's Ukraine, not Israel. And I don't think the Israel that Trump is talking about is not the same Israel, state of Israel, that is going on over there, because that's where the bankers are at. Okay? That's where the Jesuits are at. And, think about Part B of human trafficking. I've talked about this before. Part B is debt, slaves, and peonage. It's what happened in 1933 there when they, the third and final bankruptcy, where they pledged the land, both public and then private, and then the people as chattel. Turned us all into slaves, the birth certificate. That's when that all came out. Give up the gold. Here's your birth certificate. That's it. That's when things really, really changed there. Enslaved us all. That's the real human trafficking in my mind. The other side is the sexual side. Sure, there's different levels of human trafficking. I mean, you have the slaves, right, for that are forced into like commercial activities and that kind of stuff. Then you have the satanic rituals, you have the torturing, you have the eating of the babies. There's weird ceremonies that they do. There's all sorts of like hunting trips, like Hunger Games. Remember that one? It's different. That's the part A of human trafficking in the United States Code. That talks about that kind of stuff. But the organ harvesting and the satanic rituals, that's not really in there, right? They don't want to talk about that kind of human trafficking. But Trump made it very clear that he was going after them a long time ago. So make no mistake, there is, stuff going on. Going after those types of people. And that's the thing, is like we're looking at this world war. Executive Order 13818. going after those involved in serious human rights abuse and corruption worldwide. For a very long time now, the United States of America, United States controlled it. And like I've mentioned before about the Tri-City State, London, Vatican, and D.C. Vatican was raided a long time ago, many times. Trump walked in front of the Queen. Trump met with the Pope. Pope wasn't very happy. No, Trump put the hammer down on these people. Okay? Remember my one video where I said, I told you so with Jan Halpert. She was laying that stuff out. Now, that woman has some inside information, right? Because she was kind of she was part of the Trump administration. So she had a little bit of a first-hand knowledge of what was going on there. Yeah, I've seen some videos and stuff with Roseanne Barr, Warhorse for Liberty over here on Telegram. Tucker Carlson interviewed Roseanne Barr, and she came out and said all of this regarding satanic rituals and trafficking. Good interview. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Roseanne Barr, she's been a speaker on that for quite some time now. So that's pretty cool that Tucker Carlson did an interview with her. So wow. You know what? I didn't notice that either. Scott over here on Telegram. Amazing what I can now see in movies, right? Now that we're a little bit more awake, right? 7-year-old wanted to watch Transformers yesterday. The transforming police car plainly has written on the side to punish and enslave. I've watched that movie many times, but just now noticed it. Yeah. Some of the things that once you're awake and you see those things, it's you can't get unawake anymore. And I tell you, this was a good time for me to go up into the mountains and stuff because I got to clear my head. I really didn't think about much of anything outside of just relaxing, enjoying God's beautiful country. I didn't even take any pictures. I kind of wanted to, but it's like, sorry. I know certain people are like, oh, take lots of pictures. Well, it's a forest and lots of mountains, and get up there in the mountains, and it's mountain ridge after mountain ridge after mountain ridge after mountain ridge, and Idaho is beautiful. That's all I can say. Along with all the fires and all the smoke up there, of course, right where we wasn't too bad. Little tiny bit kind of rolling in and out. They've got a lot of them, most of them under control up there. A couple different ones broke out here recently, so. Right? Access Humboldt out here on unincorporated under YouTube here. No, the Pope was not happy, but Trump's smile was priceless. Oh, absolutely. So, again, a lot of this stuff, it's already happened, folks. It's just a matter of time before the deep state, the corrupt, is finally taken down. It's going to take some time, right? Again, this stuff is taken 1,000+ years, thousands of years to get to this point. I always like to refer back to the Siesta Key Vi Trust of 1666. It finally took them to 1933 with the birth certificate to get that fully implemented. So, there's a few years there. So, with that in mind, and how vast this corruption is worldwide, it's, I would challenge any man or woman out there to go run for president, become the commander in chief, and just take care of this stuff overnight, lickety split, right? Come on, you can do that. Everybody out there talking about, well, how come it isn't done yet, and why are we still blah blah blah, and how come people are still suffering? This is still dealing with stuff on a world stage. And like I've said before, for many years now, we the people are going to have to do something about this on a local level. What Trump and the military is working on is on a world stage. Okay? We the people are going to have to reassemble government de jure. We the people are going to have to take back our power. Government de jure, of the people, by the people, for the people. So where are the people? We don't have the people. We're stuck with this government de facto, this fraudulent government, willy-nilly. Okay? Plain and simple. Awesome. Rita from California. Thanks for being here. Part of California Assembly. Cool. And good to see you, Denise, on Facebook there. Ian Carroll just moved to Idaho. Not sure how long. That's crazy. Right? N-word out here on YouTube. Used to stay at Priest Lake, Idaho as a child. Clear blue lake, so beautiful. Oh, man. Idaho has so many different places, bodies of water. And that water up there is just clear. Clear as can be. I've found a couple different hidden lakes. And more like a pond on like one of them. It really wasn't that big, but way bigger than a pool, let's put it that way. But pretty good size. And you had to hike up in there, and that water was so clear, could not tell how deep it really was. But it, down inside this ravine, but it was deep. And you see clear to the bottom, even when it was like 10, 15 feet deep. And it just dropped straight off in there. So it wasn't one of those ones that you could really, dive in and go swimming in that kind of stuff, because you'd have a heck of a time getting out, unless you put some sort of deal. And you could fish in there, but again, it's a closed thing. So unless somebody stocked it with some fish. But yeah, lots of beautiful places in Idaho, but you have to watch out for the lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. No, really. Bears, for sure. We have black bears and brown bears and some grizzlies. Moose, elk, mule deer, white-tailed deer, wolves that they introduced into here aside from our regular wolves, but those Canadian wolves are a little bit bigger and a little bit meaner than a standard wolf. Um, so we got all those, which was kind of crazy. The first night we were up there, we had a wolf that was really close that howled at us. My brother seemed to think it was howling with the music because my brother had his stereo on there. We were just kind of listening to some music, and it wasn't like your normal wolf howl. So it was kind of weird. But yeah, I actually did come across some bear poop, definitely some elk and deer poop. So they're in there right where we were at. Of course, again, we're up in the mountains, so there was the one town there that, oh, I don't know, 40 miles away, 30 miles, 40, 38, something like that. So that one was fairly close, but that's a very rural town, not very big. They don't have a Walmart. They don't have any major type stuff there. It's a kind of a farming town. Grangeville is the place it's called, but yeah, doesn't sound like fun to you, huh? Too scary. They're Virginia Rayo. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of bears, and again, wolves. Those are the two like main ones that are kind of on the scary side. But any of those animals can, especially a moose, elk, deer, they can attack. Kind of like any other animal, you back them into a corner, they're gonna retaliate. Thomas Klein, I am in Boise. I think if that's the same Thomas Klein I'm thinking of, haven't we talked on the phone before? Here on YouTube. Yeah, yeah. Boise's all right. It's not too bad. But I tell you, up there, beautiful, beautiful, fresh air, even with the slight bit of smoke up there. Yes, we do have grizzly bears here. Absolutely. Actually, I think there was some sort of dollar store there in Grangeville. I did kind of off in the distance there see it when we were coming back through. Yeah. Anytime you want to come visit, but you don't want to live here. Nah. Yeah, not sure, Rita. I hear on YouTube about James talking about the Oregon going after their sheriff. Maybe James can chime in on that some more, but I wanted to read this one talking about ATF. Etain, we the people are flipping the Supreme Court with notices and affidavits. No, you're not doing anything with the Supreme Court sending in affidavits. Nice try. That's a bunch of David Jose hogwash. Affidavits are supposed to be in support of something, and you're not. If Supreme Court, I guarantee you, is ignoring all of your paperwork. Let me know if you ever get a response from the Supreme Court about these so-called affidavits going to the Supreme Court. It's not how that works, guys. But, y'all can think what you want to think and do what you want. But I'm a big proponent for following the letter of the law as it is written and following due process of law as it is written. What's the process that is due? I can tell you. I haven't found anything about writing an affidavit and sending it to the Supreme Court that does anything. Nowhere in any kind of due process of law does that even exist. First Amendment does talk about the right of petition. Did you file a petition? Maybe like writ of certiorari, writ of habeas corpus, writ of review, those common law writs. And then have an affidavit in support of those petitions, those writs. Yeah. That would be kind of interesting if you followed those kinds of due process of law. We did from Gorsuch. Did you miss it? uh, yeah. Yeah, Dreaming Deer over here on Telegram just received a call from a Tennessee fire chief who was in the worst hit areas of Tennessee and North Carolina. He says the rumors about federal agencies are true. Yep, stopping aid. He also said things are much worse than we know. So, yeah. Well, Ruby Strickland, it's not a remonstrance, it's a petition. Petition is a political lawsuit. A remonstrance is a formal written protest about legislation being made. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Dead animals all over. It's people all over, people buried. It's a heavily devastated area there, North Carolina and Tennessee. Like I said, I talked to Art who lives there in that area, and it's not good. But again, uh, as far as I understand, there the sheriffs are starting to step in those areas there and starting to tell the feds to kick rocks, get out of here, get out of the way. So, so yes, again, prayers all around, all you prayer warriors and stuff out there, please pray for those folks out there. Well, now we're talking, right? Warhorse for them. I wonder how many tunnels were cleaned out. Exactly. I know there's lots of death that happened there. And like I explained here 2 weeks ago about casualties of war. And this is what war looks like, folks. We are at war. World war. World war with the deep state. They're not all taken out yet. I'm pretty darn sure that there were some underground tunnels in that area. Just like the so-called strike by the port employees and everybody that works at the ports, right? And that was something I talked about a couple of weeks ago, was the fact that the military was coming in and taking over. And that little tidbit that I had gotten was that the way that worked out is because the United States Inc., right? That would be that corporation that was created in 1871 there, that Trump did the involuntary bankruptcy on in June of 2020. That's the part of the stuff that's going on, right? This is slowly being dismantled, right? Because corporation that's gone bankrupt cannot make any new contracts. And so what better way to force things by saying, oh, we're going to go on strike because we want new contracts. Well, they can't make any new contracts. Don't have that power. So the other thing is okay, taking back control of our ports and start regulating foreign commerce like it's supposed to be in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, not per the code. So, like I said before, who is supposed to man the ports? That's Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. That's supposed to be forts, ports, magazines, and arsenals and other needful buildings to regulate commerce. See, now we have airplanes, so now we have airports. Oh, aside from seaports, we have airports. Ports of entry for commerce. So, that's what the military, that's that Second Amendment, the first part of the Second Amendment there, a well-regulated militia, not a policy officer, police policy officer, or a Department of Homeland Security, or FBI, CIA, EPA. We're supposed to have a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. And remember, the militia is supposed to be composed of the body of the people themselves. Brother Mark. Hang in there, brother. Out on YouTube. Good to see you, Mark. Glad you're okay-ish. Did you say? Oh, Mark, do some stretches. I've been suffering with that uh, back issues since about 2019 myself. Started seeing a chiropractor, and I cannot believe it. This one stretch, really, what it boils down to is pinched sciatic nerves. Hope you get through it, brother. Well, no, I've not. Diesel for We the People News. I have not heard about the petition in Massachusetts against the governor. Is that for impeachment? Oh, missed this one out here. What body prosecutes maladministration? That's from Rumble out there, all caps, false prophet. Um, well, with everything that's going on right now, it's going to be in a military tribunal. And like I covered 2 weeks ago, Monday, about the Law of War Manual and Lieber Code. So all this is supposed to be done through military tribunals. And that's predominantly what's going on. All this other stuff is just a lot of the government de facto corporation courts. Now, I bring this up again. You know, the whole COVID thing. They shut down the courts, remember? Couldn't hold trials, had to put everything on hold. And that was right when Trump said, okay, well, he had a difficult decision to make. So he made the decision to hold off because not enough people were awake and ready for what's going to come. Plain and simple. And like Trump said, it was much bigger than they thought. They needed more time. You know, given the amount of corruption worldwide, not to mention what's underground. And I said, I'll challenge any man or woman out there to go ahead and run for president and become the commander in chief and see what kind of job you can do in 4 years. Plus, fight off the deep staters within our own, government. Corruption. Like I've said before, they didn't want Trump to win. They didn't think he was going to win. They didn't think there was anything was going to happen like that. It was Hillary was due to get in. Agenda 21 was on its flow and everything was in order. And again, the next step was to come in and take the guns, kill the men and any women that wanted to stand up, and whatever was left was what they would deal with in FEMA camps. That's right there in Agenda 21. That was part of the plan that they had. But that's the reason why the military was going to do a coup on Obama to stop all that. Now, that would have been an all-out war, crazy. It just would have been crazy. As if it isn't crazy already. It would have been much worse times than we're having now, by far. If the military had done that coup on Obama, we'd have been fighting amongst ourselves. We're already kind of fighting amongst ourselves, but all the brainwashed and indoctrinated nut jobs out there, just let them go by the wayside. try to talk to him, plant a seed, and walk away. Hmm. Right? Everyone can armchair quarterback a system they know nothing about, and act like sunshine patriots and try to get on the bandwagon that seems to be making progress. Yep, that's pretty much it. Uh, here in Idaho and all these so-called patriot people, I'm like, all right, let's stand up, let's do this. Let's follow due process of law. Let's file a petition. Let's file criminal complaints, A091s. Let's file paperwork. Let's fight back. Let's do this. What? No, no. No, that takes too much time. Well, what else are you going to do? You going to stand out there on some street corner and hold some signs and yell and scream? That doesn't do shit. So, what are we going to do? Yeah, it's interesting, Mark, how declarations right out of the Lieber Code, a proclamation or those kinds of things, a declaration. That's how things are done. James, have a booster and put on a face diaper. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the younger generation. What I'm talking about, brainwashed and indoctrinated. They don't have the ability to think for themselves. And something that has been brought to my attention firsthand is the fact that these kids, 30 years and younger, their vocabulary sucks. They have no real meaning of words, vocabulary, definitions, true meaning of actual words. Perfect example, this little law seminar that I did, and couldn't even get through the Declaration of Independence because to assume the powers of the earth, and they're like, what do you mean by the powers of the earth? We had to talk about the word of the earth. And it's, what are the powers? And it's like, that's that realization of how much deep doo-doo we're really in with these younger generations. They really have no vocabulary, no understanding of words. And it's a wonder why we have all this slang stuff out there now. They think they're so cool with all this slang stuff because they know what that means because, that's the hip thing. But you ask them to define certain words and they can't even define them, let alone do they even know them. This is what we're facing. We're facing a need for a serious re-education of just about anybody 30 years of age and younger, for sure. Now, except for those that might have been homeschooled. Right, Diesel D's. They're waiting for the Declaration of Independence in a comic book form. They still wouldn't get it. Again, they're They have no comprehension of what these words mean. And in my mind, that is a sad state of affair. Our society, we're screwed. We got kids these days that can't even comprehend basic, fundamental English language, the words, on purpose, right? Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals: take over the education, dumb them down. That's what we're dealing with. That's what's happened. Part of Agenda 21. Oh no. I'm not familiar with who you are, Sonia Lebelsky. Falling out between Tony Franquito and Doug. That's unfortunate. They're both good guys, and I really like Tony. I really like Doug. Uh, Doug's just pretty hard headed. He won't listen. Um, Tony Franquito, great guy. We've had some really interesting conversations. That man's got some smarts. He's got some knowledge. Very intelligent man. Um, yeah, I'll have to touch base with Tony Franquito. It's been a while. Uh, yeah, I know. Yeah, all these comments out here on YouTube. I know. It's we're screwed, but that's what it's going to take. It's education. But unfortunately, for California and what those guys are doing, they're not doing it proper. Period. You have to assemble the people first. And the only ones that are doing that correctly is the ones that at National Assembly. The ones that have the support of the military. The ones that have done the 21 requisitions. That would be Michigan. Did those 21 requisitions. They don't want to listen to that. They think they know what they're doing over there, and so be it. I agree, Rita, here on YouTube. Charlie Kirk is doing a great job waking up the college kids. I have to agree with that. I'm pretty solid behind what Charlie Kirk is doing, and he's young enough where he can get in there with the college kids and still kind of relate to them. I think he's 28 years old now. So he's still, in his 20s. Thomas, I don't know anything about the BRICS thing and what's going on there. Um, yeah, I wish I had an answer for you on that stuff, but I don't. Jax, shame on you. Maybe we can chip 30 and younger with intelligence. Oh, I'm absolutely sure that that could happen. Um, but then they'll only be as smart as whoever programs it. So, got to be very careful in that situation, right? It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. Yeah, all this stuff about the Brunson stuff, about how, oh yeah, the Supreme Court's doing it. No, the Supreme Court judicial branch does not have subject matter jurisdiction. It's right in their own paperwork from the court. Lack of standing and a lack of subject matter jurisdiction. I went over it with Lloyd Brunson. He did not want to listen. I've done it twice with him, explained that stuff. You know, that one time with the Flynns sitting in the background, they didn't want to listen to it either. Yet I showed the facts of law, the letter of the law, as it is written on the screen. So, sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Have to have an open mind and be able to take in new information and accept the possibility that there are other parts of the law that we just don't know about. Like, the same thing with me, like the right of petition. I'm like, what are you talking about, Chris? Blah, 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 blah. And then, we were talking about that there's rules of procedure in the House and the Senate and joint rules. And I'm like, what the heck? Holy crap. You're absolutely right, Chris. There's rules of procedure for the House, just like it is in the judicial branch. There's rules of procedure in the judicial branch, just like there's rules of procedure in the legislative branch. Oh, of course they have an NDA from SCOTUS. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. What is it? I can't see it. The Supreme Overlord Hallett is here in Force Ghost form. Yeah. Chris is still with us. In spirit. I miss Chris. I really do. But this is where we're at. And this is what we got to do. We got to pick up the torch and keep going. Yeah. Now, you can, tell these guys, the Brunsons, talk to them, showed it to them. They don't want to listen. Just a matter of time, folks. So yeah, I really didn't have anything super planned for tonight. I actually wasn't even sure it was going to do tonight, let alone wasn't even going to be back. Um, I did have a little bit of cell service up there. Um, get up on the top a little bit there. Every once in a while we get some cell service. In camp, cell service as long as I kind of stayed still and stayed in one spot. But again, basically from about an hour before sun up to after sundown was in the mountains hunting. So no real time to play around on my phone. So I was going to just, send a message if I ended up staying, which I wanted to stay, but like I said, had some family issues going on, so I came back Sunday. Got back Sunday night. So I didn't really have anything planned for tonight either, so. But, there's never a lack of things to talk about. Well, thank you, Sarah, over here on Telegram. It's good to hear me chat about stuff because I know stuff, right? I know stuff and things. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff I know about cars and computers and construction, law. I don't know. What do we want to talk about? Oh, yeah. Oh, good to see you, Karen. And Wendy over here finally made it. Slacker. Nah, no worries. Let's see. Oh, on Rumble here. What are my thoughts, if any, on Dave Jose? Well, I know Dave Jose. I've met Dave Jose in person out in D.C. when we went out there for that. Was going to be in front of Congress educational panel. Um, I try to refrain from talking about certain people or about people in general, just because it's just not nice. But Dave's a smart guy. He's done some research. I don't think that he fully comprehends due process of law and what kind of paperwork that needs to be done. If he were to do that, if he were to learn some of the same stuff that I've learned, he could be a force to be reckoned with because he really dives into their code stuff. Now, he doesn't know much about laws of nature, doesn't know about the law of nations, doesn't know real law. He knows a lot about their code. He talks an awful lot. Haven't seen much to back it up. So, teach their own, Trust but verify. Well, Access Humboldt Unincorporated asking me to speak about the 19 municipalities contracts that were part of the 1771-73 Organic Act. Will this be part of how we are going to begin running our government again? I'm not even familiar with that one. Again, we need to look at common law. We need to look at the way things are supposed to be run by the people, what the powers of the people are. Right, Scott? Building a 383 stroker. Yeah, you see, change the crankshaft there, and yeah. There's your extra stroke there. But now we're gonna have to get back to the common law and how things are supposed to be. Who and really who is supposed to do what, and what limited powers were actually delegated to the legislative branch. See, this is where we're going to have to get into things like what is personal jurisdiction? What is subject matter jurisdiction? What is territorial jurisdiction? Those three types of jurisdictions. That's that who has what powers and over what the subject. What subject? But over who? Those acting in commerce is personal jurisdiction. Just like Hale versus Hinkle talks about, that there's a clear distinction between a corporation and an individual. Right? The individual has no duty to open up his books and papers on suit of the state or to his neighbor. So, we need to get back to that, where government can kick rocks when it comes to the private. And, sovereign, the power to create, well, sure, the legislature might have the power to create, and then they could only regulate that which they create, which, again, why the birth certificate was done and all that, the way it was done, was because that is a creation of the state. I could care less about him, about him, this, that. It's unlawful. That is a fraudulent document. The birth certificate is a fraud. You cannot take a creation of God and turn it into a fiction, a person, gaining personal jurisdiction over man, which is a creation of God. That goes against the laws of nature. Fundamentally and principally, that is morally, and it's just morally wrong. It's an evil. Period. We need to go back to the way it was done. It was recorded in the family Bible, published in the local newspaper, and recorded through the census. That's how it was done long before 1933. Right? Even Blackstone's commentaries on the law of England, you gotta have some discernment there, even. But because he does talk about the Roman civil law, the code, and intermingles and with the common law, and says, well, the code agrees with the common law on this particular point here, like given some sort of favoritism to Roman civil law, the code. But after my research and reading and knowing a little history of all this stuff, now it's like, I want nothing to do with the code. Get it the heck out of here. It's a foreign jurisdiction. It's a foreign body of law. It's now that I know that it's a fundamental law, and it is opposed to the laws of nature, the law of nations, and the common law, why in the heck would we even want the code as a fundamental law? Because you got to pick one, right? You don't want to try to intermingle fundamental laws, because that can get really confusing real fast, because which one is the actual fundamental law? You can only have one fundamental law. So I could give a rat's ass what the Roman Catholics think their civil law ecclesiastical crap in their ideology, and again, Roman Catholic, okay, Catholicism as an ideology, governmental ideology. I know there's a lot of people out there. Some people make the comments that they're not very happy with me talking bad about Catholics and Catholicism. Well, I'm not talking bad about Catholics. I'm talking about Catholicism and Roman Catholic and history of Catholicism as an ideology. Okay? And then what's really behind it is the Jesuits. So now we want to get into that part. Sure. But that stuff just needs to go away. It was lost, buried, gone, until that was around 600 A.D. and then was rediscovered in 1135. Should have stayed buried and gone, burnt to the ground. Leave it alone. Somebody had to bring that stuff back up. Oh, what is today? Isn't today the Columbus Day? Yeah. I actually seen a little video on that explaining that about Columbus family name. It was quite interesting, and I can't fully remember everything to articulate it well enough, so I just kind of leave it alone because I don't know enough to speak on it. But just the gist of it is that's kind of like the origin of the family name of what's actually been going on in America. So at least that's what was portrayed in that video that I watched about it. But in my mind, again, it's much. We're dealing with the 13 families, the Committee of 300, the Jesuits, the bankers, that have basically controlled the world, or it has attempted to control the world for a long time. And like I've said before, these people play a serious generational long game. Again, look at the Sestake Trust Act of 1666 to the birth certificate of 1933. How long did it take to get there? It took a little while, right? And the people that were involved in the Sestake Trust Act of 1666 sure in the heck weren't alive in 1933, at least as far as common sense knowledge. There may be some other kind of explanation of how somebody might still be alive. Time travel, cloning, anything like that. Sure. Right. Jax, what's next? St. Patrick's being canceled? I don't know. Right, Wars for Liberty talking about Catholics will be in a huge trouble when the truth comes out. Right, that'll be the bigger challenge, waking people up. I think that that group in general is the most indoctrinated. Okay, They can barely admit that priests did what they did to altar boys. It's scary how the Bible has even been changed. Absolutely. Been altered. But yeah, I mean, they're having a hard time swallowing those, the red pills with these priests diddling little boys. I mean, where do you get into taking them downstairs into the secret basement and into those rooms, or they're kidnapped and just disappear and end up in some of them satanic rituals and that kind of stuff. Oh man, you're having a hard time just swallowing the little red pill of priests diddling little boys. So, that's just the tip of the iceberg, brother. And you know that. But yeah, that's just one of those things, in the Catholic Church that's real prevalent. That's going to have to be acknowledged that is happening. They're forced to acknowledge it, but they don't want to, right? It's just like, oh well, but that priest was such a good priest, and well, apparently he was not. So we're in a heck of a world of a mess, worldwide. Because like I was talking about in the beginning of the show tonight, that it's worldwide. A lot of them are involved in this child pedophilia satanic ritual stuff. In one way, shape, or form of another, they're involved. Sheriffs, police, for America, but it's worldwide. This isn't just in America. So I know that's just one red pill that people are going to have to swallow. Yep. Jack's Catholic and Sharia have a lot in common. Yeah, I discovered that through Europia. Well, the Catholics actually created Islam. Imagine that. So, Islam is just an offshoot of Catholicism. The Catholic religion is created by them. So, you want to talk about a deep state of being, there you go. Yep, I agree, Sonia, that Roman civil law, the code, it needs to fail like it's failed before. So, oh, well, that fan isn't going to work unless it's plugged in. So let me plug that in real quick. Imagine that. There we go. Get a little warm under the desk here. But that's, it was lost once, taken out for 500 some years there. So, these sick, evil people, they just can't, well, the way I've explained this before is that they need this power and control, right? So they can make sure they can get away with their satanic rituals and their pedophilia stuff, because then nobody else can do anything about it if they do find out. They'll just kill them, which is what's been happening for millennia. Okay? Right, Karen, out here on YouTube. That's another thing is like so many of these people are starting to resign. I was actually just talking to my mom about this today, that there's so many things going on, that there's, and it's been happening since basically January 1st of 2019. But I was just reading a comment. People resigning from big corporations, the banks, right? The whole banking industry is being redone. The Fed and the IRS was moved by Trump under the Department of Treasury. Okay. Now, if you'll recall from 2 weeks ago when I was talking about the Lieber Code, Law of War Manual, Article 4, Section 4, the Federal Constitution, this is the powers of the Commander-in-Chief. Has the power to set up provisional government. He has the power to set that. We're under martial law, guys. We're at war. So that stuff's already been happening. But people are, in my mind, and the way I've talked about it before, is they would basically get their notice that they've been indicted for a military tribunal. You got 2 weeks to get your affairs in order, family, all that good stuff. And you're going to be going off to prison. Whether it's Gitmo or some other prison. Some may be executed. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Isaac Cappy knew about Epstein and Diddy and all that, P. Diddy and all that stuff. Oh, absolutely. Yep. Pedophiles in the church has been from the beginning, right? Yeah. This stuff is, that's as old as the church, right? I mean, pure evil. It ain't something new. Been going on for a long time, which goes back to why they want to have all this power and be in charge and in control. And especially with like education, to keep people docile and ignorant, dumbed down. None the wiser, Yeah, yeah. But this is what we're dealing with. Corruption at its finest. Worldwide. That's what's being taken care of on the world stage. We're at world war. And like I've said before, we the people, we need to reassemble government de jure here in America. Trump said he was putting the power back into the people's hands at his inauguration speech in 2017. January 2017. So, that's one of the things that we're always asking is, where's the people? Where are we the people? And we have, it's like building an engine. You have to have the block, the engine block itself, in order to build the engine. And some people just don't get that. They think that they can just willy-nilly and take any parts and put them together and make it run. I got news for you. That thing ain't running right. It is not going to be effective. It's not going to work right. I can promise you that. Go ahead. Try to go ahead and exercise some of them powers as governor you claim that you have. See what happens. You get laughed at. Might find yourself might find yourself getting locked up by the military. So we the people. This is where us men and women are trying to come together and reassemble government de jure and declare our status as one of the people. On national-assembly.net. Now, there is another website now, and I'm trying to think. That was 2 weeks ago. Let me see if I can find that. Dang it. There is another website that's been created, but I cannot. I thought that I had it pulled up still, and I don't see Destry on here tonight. So we talked about it on Thursday 2 weeks ago. It was announced on the conference call. Thursday nights, right here, conference call tab. Right next to the home tab. Conference call info. Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We do the roll call type stuff thing first, and then we have the general discussion, education, Q&A. Scrimshaw, good to see you. Even though you're late, no worries. So Thursday nights, folks. And here's the information on the national-assembly.net website. Again, I highly recommend downloading the free conference call app. Install that on your phone, your laptop, your desktop, whatever you're using over there. Okay? That way you can see the screen when screen shared is being shared, where the law is being shown, because I'm one of those ones that obviously you're watching right now, so you know that I show the letter of the law on the screen. And read along. You can read along with it. That way there is no dispute. There is no debate. This isn't my opinion. These are facts of law as it is written. Now, here's a tutorial on YouTube here for your smartphones. Tutorial on YouTube for your desktop. There's those two links there. Okay. And then once you install the app, all you got to do is come back here, click on this link right here, and once you do that the first time, it'll be in there. Okay? And you just have to click on that each and every time. You have to open up free conference call, okay? And go through that route. Otherwise, without the app, you miss what's on the screen. You still hear. Now, I get that there's some people out there that don't have internet, using flip phones, non-smartphones. I know a gentleman. I work with him through the office. Yeah, I know they exist out there. He has a flip phone and he doesn't have internet. But for those of that you do have internet, Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff, please install the free conference call app. There it is. Restore-america.org. Let's see if that'll pop up over here. Yes. Thank you, Dreaming Dear Sarah. And Joe. So this kind of, it's a lot better than the National Assembly site in the sense of user friendly and information. Okay, National Assembly has a lot of information in there, and it's more about that kind of stuff on the assembly stuff. And there's a crap. You got your forums and all that stuff. This is just a basic website. Okay. There you go. This little thing here will pop up. Interested in learning more or joining our assembly conference calls? Fill out this form and we'll get you plugged in. Now, that is restore-america.org. Okay? Don't forget the hyphen. Because if you go to restoreamerica.org, that's a different website. It's not connected to the National Assembly. Okay? I guess there's a 1-minute video here. Who we are, what we're doing, our mission. Another, that's pretty much the same thing as what pops up there. So kudos to those who put this website together. And I know that they put me on here under learning opportunities. Aside from the Thursday night conference call. Right here, here's a link to my website. I'm not sure if they fixed the Telegram channel link, but I don't know if it'll show up. No, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to double check that. But so I thank them for having me on there, on this website as a link to my website, and which leads back to the lives, the free educational series on YouTube and all that good stuff. So then they have the resources tab here. Northwest Ordinance 1787. Yeah, again, I would highly recommend some other documents for in here, in between the Magna Carta and the Federalist Papers for sure, like the Ordinance of Virginia 1621, the Virginia Declaration of Rights June 12, 1776, the Virginia Constitution June 29, 1776, then the Declaration of Independence. Even add the Lee's Resolution before the Federalist Papers, and Articles of Confederation, because the Federalist Papers was actually written with the Constitution, or before, as a in support of, to explain to the people, right? Because this was published in the newspaper. But yeah, so this is definitely a more user-friendly website. Yeah, the Mayflower Compact just says we're settling in the northern parts of Virginia and setting up government. So you need the fundamental ordinance of 1621 of Virginia, because that was in Virginia. Virginia is the key to all of this. You do have the Articles of Confederation. See, you've got the Constitution of the United States of America out of order because the Articles of Confederation and the Northwest Ordinance. Articles of Confederation was first, then the Constitution, then the Northwest Ordinance. Yeah, there's... But still, I like it. I like that how this is laid out. It's a lot more user friendly than what we have here. But great information on here as well, right? And what I've talked about here is you could get in here if you want to start chatting. You get into that National Assembly forums, and you scroll down here to the 50 nation states. You see that right here? This area right here in the middle. Okay. And find your state. You got introductions. That's the first one. Then you've got the general chat. So you can go into that introduction. Hey, I'm from Alabama. How's it going? Blah, 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 blah. Now, I know that it's not super active, but we need to make it a little more active. But with this particular website, this is great because it gives you the pop-up, or right at the bottom here, pretty much right here, contact. You could do that. Actually, looks like you can chat with somebody. I'm not going to hit on that right now because I don't want to get somebody on the line. That'd be funny. But yeah. So there's that. Then we have, of course, my own website. Let's see. Does that actually work from here? It does. Look at that. So for my website, you know, I've got the library tab up here. Got all sorts of books in here. Reading means reading, folks. The links, that's just pretty much the same thing as all this up here. I have to change this one here, the Telegram channel, because again, it's so nice not having all the bots and scumbag scammers. By switching to a private channel. So this is not the right one. They'll take you to nowhere. The Patreon's good, Rumble's good, YouTube is good. Facebook is good. Twitter is good. Most everything I do is actually on Telegram. That's predominantly where I'm out of, is Telegram. I really don't waste my time with anything else anymore. And then, of course, my Monday Night Law on Patreon. Do the Wednesday night workshop for those that want to get in on private classes for Wednesday nights, where I go in depth on other subjects and good general discussion over there. That's the link to Patreon there. You can also click on this link right down here. That is Tier 3. Now, what I also talk about is Tier 1, Tier 2 is to help support. You want to, $5 a month, $10 a month, thank you very much. I appreciate those that have subscribed there. Wednesday Night Workshop is Tier 3. And if you're looking for one-on-one time with me, that is Tier 4. And kind of been discussing with somebody about changing some of the prices there just due to inflation and everything else, which I know it kind of sucks for some people, but basically been brought to my attention. It's pretty cheap. So, I don't know. We'll see. I greatly appreciate everybody that is subscribed over there through Patreon for support, Wednesday Night Workshop, and the one-on-ones. Thank you very much. So, other than that, there's the link right here to the YouTube for my free educational series 1 through 8 plus 3 other videos that I've added to that playlist. Still haven't done anything with that whole email thing. And again, I will never sell your information, so you never have to worry about that. And then for any donations you'd like to, do through the snail mail, that's this address right here, 6477 West Fairview Avenue, Suite G, Boise, Idaho 83704. I want to thank those that have sent their donations through snail mail. Postal money orders, regular money orders, cash wrapped aluminum foil. Michael, thank you, brother. Gold and silver coinage. Any law books, of course. Thanks to Wendy and Jax and a couple other people. Rob, who's gotten all sorts of books. Getting overwhelmed with books to read, but again, I talk about how I used to hate to read in school, and I still don't really like to read, except for law. It's funny, but it's not. Just a simple fact that, man, I can get so in-depth involved in reading law books, blows my own mind. The link for Restore America is restore-america.org. Let me see. I just had that up. Won't let me. Oh, I see. It was on the same. Let's go back. There we go. Restore-america.org. All right, folks. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. And again, share. get people over here on the National Assembly call Thursday nights. Somebody's trying to post it over there on YouTube, and I guess Diana out here on Rumble said it was hidden twice that she tried to post it and was hidden. So again, which is why I like Rumble and Telegram, folks. Tired of this frickin' censorship. Have a great night, folks. Wednesday night workshop, people. We'll see you Wednesday night. And Thursday night on the National Assembly call, folks. Please tell your friends, tell your family. Let's get this going. Let's get the people reassembled. Let's get government reassembled. All right? It's up to us. If we don't reassemble government de jure, we get what we get. Martial law. Chaos. Okay? And I know it's going to be difficult, given what we talked about earlier, is the fact that, these kids 30 years and younger, they're just so dumbed down. They have no vocabulary. So, come on, folks, 40 years old and up, it's us. It's up to us. Gen X, come on. Let's go. Let's get her done. It's going to be up to us. We're the last generation, lived in a time before the internet, before cell phones. And we're about the last generation that has any kind of common sense. Because common sense isn't common. But hey, we're it. So, all us old people, let's go. Let's get over there, the national-assembly.net free conference call, and get on the Thursday night call. Get on that restore-america.org and send a contact information so you can get hooked up. All right?